Every Thursday night, you ask the questions, DT gives you his answers. No holds barred.
This is your chance to speak your mind and be heard about anything.
Q&A with Don Tony. And now, your host, Don Tony.
Good evening, everybody. Oh, what a crazy day today. It is Thursday night. What is it, February 18th, 2021? I'm back. Q&A with Don Tony. Much love. And, we cannot forget. Let's see all those emojis. Let's see color. Let's see it. Big shout out to everybody who's tuning in live, who are getting the show early. Some little roll call. Austin, Nance, SoFly, Sterling, VJ, RCW. Lee, what's going on, man? Brian M, Southern Love, Michael Gonzalez, One Fall. Everybody is coming in right now. No, we ain't got no buffering. No. That's got to be on your end. Oh, nice. You know, if anybody follows my Twitter, at DonTonyD, I shot a little video this morning on my way to the parents' house in the middle of the snowstorm. Weather was horrendous. You saw it. And actually, I recorded some additional video I haven't put online yet. A lot of you out there always wanted to see the spot where that plane went down. Shortly after 9/11, I mean, everybody obviously remembers 9/11, how tragic. A couple of weeks after that, another plane went down in Rockaway, Queens. I think it was en route to the Dominican Republic or coming back from it, and it was within a couple of blocks of my parents' house. They were home at the time. So I actually shot a little video of that later. I didn't want to put it up today because there was so much going on, but gonna have some fun tonight. We will do another contest. It is with the Who Am I theme, but this is going to be a little bit different. I'll give you an early hint. The topic has to do with the match that was announced last night on AEW Dynamite that Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega are going to have an exploding barbed wire death match. That is the theme for tonight's contest. So keep that in the back of your mind. It's not going to be a hard contest. Somebody will win it within a couple of seconds. Wanted to keep it simple tonight. What's up, Mac? Larry Rovers, DJ Mac. Sam, Sterling, Mr. Mike. How's it going, man? Couple other things. No Lenny audio tonight. No Howie audio tonight. I know some of you will be disappointed. I got another treat for you. Many of you out there have been asking to see this stuff going back to the early 2000s with yours truly. There is only 2 clips that are available online. The infamous deli man, when I hit Vinny the Guido over the head with a loaf of Italian bread and tried to give him the mandible claw with the gizzards, and he ran out of the ring, that sissy. I offered him $50 to take the mandible claw with the gizzards, and he ran out of the ring at the very end. The other one is when I stapled the contract to Lowlife Louie's ass. But I worked over 70 or 80 indie wrestling shows in my awful career. You've been all wanting to see this footage. Part of me is a little embarrassed to show the footage. Part of me felt that I was never anything as far as wrestling goes. So I don't want to put it online and everybody thinks, oh, what does he think? He's tough shit. But I tell you, got a very emotional email from someone who is involved in wrestling, who you do see on TV. And we had like a really, really deep heart-to-heart conversation about a few topics. And he's like, when are we going to see your shit? And I'm like, I don't think anybody wants to see it. He's like, dude, man, you're having so much fun right now. Throw it out there. Laugh at yourself. Poke fun at yourself. So everybody, I am prepared later. Look, we got a second camera. because I know it's flipped, mirrored, so I could actually look down at the video, but we're going to start putting a couple little different camera angles, but, sorry for I should have scanned it in my computer and showed it to you this way, but starting tonight, we're going to poke fun at yours truly. Yes, I made DVD covers in the past. Yep, that is yours truly. If you look at this one, I take pride, man. I'm in the main event. The main event of the night. Yes, not a manager, but actually in a match. I made DVDs. Mr. Big is going to send me that video of the Sandman caning me and me trying to spray hairspray in his face. Mr. Big is going to send it. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to send it so we could all have a good laugh. So, I promised Chris and a few others that I would put it up early tonight because it's been a long week. The weather has been horrendous in so many different areas. My God, you see what's going on in Texas especially. Oh, Roger Rubio, that's awesome, man. You used the discount, right? You used the discount code. He got his merchandise. It came in today. That was fast, man. Because the orders, they're kind of like, oh, wait 21 days. I'm like, 21 days? They're like, no, we just say that because we don't want people calling us a week later. So cool. Absolutely cool. Let me know how the quality is. Because little by little, I'm getting away from Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm going to add some new merch on this store. We got a couple of things coming out. Not only will this be used on the shows, but this will be t-shirts. Yes, what I've been wanting for years. Yours truly and Mish as Beavis and Butthead. It is not done. Somebody is helping me, and we're going to color it this weekend. Yeah, we're going to do some Beavis and Butthead themed stuff. It's going to be fun, man. I don't know if we'll have nachos all over the floor, but we'll probably have a few other things. Steve Joseph. What does Steve say? Ted Cruz going to Cancun. What do I think about that? And do I think he should resign? Okay. Before I show you the video, before we go over this, anybody wants any last minute additions to the card, because I'm giving it to my dad tomorrow. It's the Get Well card. If you remember 2 weeks ago, everybody got together and I said, oh, you know, I wanted to show the video because I got my dad a cameo from Judge Janine Pirro because he likes Judge Janine, but I don't have the video in the system over here. So we may have to save that for tomorrow. But as far as Ted Cruz goes, and then we'll show the other things. You know, I feel bad for everybody who's in Texas. I got to tell you, though, you know, it blows me away that Texas was, and it's not the residents' fault, but as far as the government, I just can't understand that they were never protected, you know, in case of snow and ice. And yes, it is very rare and it doesn't happen all that often, but to have this level of unpreparedness, you know, look, let's be a little fair for a minute. You know, you look at what happened with Superstorm Sandy in our neck of the woods. You know, a lot of people felt that the coastal area was not prepared for a storm surge like that. And yeah, you know, it's hard when it doesn't happen for 100 years, but you have to have some type of, you know, preparation. The Hamptons, because I work in insurance, the Hamptons has been a controversial topic for years and years and years because you have beachfront property in the Hamptons that is always getting hit with floods. And yet they keep building and FEMA keeps reimbursing. They keep building. And it's like, why aren't they taking other measures, insisting that the houses are built, you know, 10 feet in the air? And I know it sounds ridiculous, but believe it when I tell you, when Sandy hit, a lot of houses had to be raised. So if there is a flood again, it doesn't fill up the basement and become a trap. As far as Ted Cruz going to Cancun because he heard about the weather that was upcoming, I'm not a big fan of Ted Cruz. But I don't think anybody foreseen or foresaw what was going to happen in Texas. You get bad weather. Hey, let's go to Florida. Let's go on vacation. Let's just get out of here for a little while. I mean, yes, the worst case scenario happened with the weather, but you look at all of these years with Texas and cool weather. Nobody expected this. I don't think Ted Cruz expected this. Again, Lewis, he says Ted Cruz is a scumbag. Trust me, I do not like Ted Cruz. I don't like anybody in politics. You see how shady they are to save their asses, to save their jobs. I mean, they're the ones that never lost their jobs. They're the ones that bank incredible amounts of money. They have unbelievable power. And you see how it's misused and used and abused. And the only people that you kind of trust in the beginning are the new politicians, you know, the rookies who are only maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, don't have a history in politics. So they're going to show up in Washington and they're going to, you know, set the standard and be different, this and that. You give it a couple of years, they do the same very goddamn thing. I don't like Ted Cruz, but I honestly, no one expected that kind of weather. And what are you supposed to do? Oh, it's so bad, let me cancel my trip from Cancun? I don't even think he could have flew back into Texas with everything going on. So hopefully that answered. We'll talk about Cuomo a little bit later. By the way, as always, everyone, if you're enjoying the show, I'd appreciate it if you... Oh, why do we have Wednesday night Don-O-Mite stuff? This is not Wednesday night Don-O-Mite. All right, we'll save those for another day. All right. A lot of you out there have been wanting to see what I used to do as far as managing matches. Now, I'm not going to show the match tonight because it would be about 20 minutes or so. But what I decided to do instead was to show you the video of what set up that match. And like I said, they have about 70 of these. But I'm showing you one tonight because I was only involved in a handful of matches. But we get a good laugh out of it. You see me cutting promos, crowd reaction. Oh my God, the gut. Look at my stomach. I mean, you'd think that I would have been like this, trying to make myself look built. So, and honestly, man, I got some DMs today from people like, yo, man, that promo was awesome. It wasn't awesome. But I see today how awful some people are on the mic. You know, there's just no believability anymore. Oh, and by the way, I have something to say about the Kyle O'Reilly update. I have something to say about the AEW rating. Yes. I was only off by 3,000 yesterday or Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday. Wow, it feels like a long day. Yeah, we kind of had a long day. Because for those that aren't aware, today we were supposed to get the COVID vaccine. My father is out of the hospital only 7 days. I think today might have been day 8. Not even 2 weeks ago, you know, he had major heart surgery. We were expecting crazy amounts of snow today. I begged my father, let me postpone the appointment for a couple of days from now. No, keep it. You saw my Twitter this morning. I shot out to Rockaway, got up very early today. You know, it's not just, you know, nerves about getting the second shot. And by the way, I have my thermometer. 97.6, no fever as of right now. I do feel beat up, though. I feel really beat up because the side effects for the second shot. But anyway, we got to the site about an hour early, and my father walked up, and I swear to God, I'm not even kidding, my father lifted his shirt up to the people and said, look, I just had heart surgery. You know, can I wait in my car? And I drove, and they said, no, come inside and sit down. So I parked about a block away with my mom, and my father calls. He's like, no, go into the place. Just tell him you and me. So, number one, not only was my father the first person in line to get the shot today, but this afternoon he got the vaccine, the second shot, and this time I took the picture. This is me getting the shot today, the second shot, thank freaking God. And I thought this picture was hilarious. I didn't realize my father was taking a picture also. You see me in the back. My father's taking a picture of me taking a picture of my mom. So all three of us got the vaccine today. I know the side effects the second time around are much worse. Right now, I just feel very run down and beat up. I promise you, today is going to be a much shorter show than usual because I really need a good night's sleep. Now, one last thing before we get to the fun. Tomorrow, I didn't know if we were doing a show today. I didn't know if we were doing a show tomorrow because I have to shovel for my parents. The weather is horrendous. And I thought I was going to stay at their house tonight and tomorrow night. The snow wasn't as bad today. It stopped early, so I shoveled their house around 3 o'clock. I came back here to do the show and hang out with all of you. Tomorrow morning, I'm going back to their house again, and if we don't have much more accumulation, I will be back here tomorrow night. We will do the Don Tony show. We will do SmackDown Elimination Chamber predictions. We'll talk about a few other topics as well. So as of right now, tomorrow, the show. No, Mr. Mike, trust me. I got very little sleep this week, and especially how I feel right now with this COVID vaccine. I want to pop an Ambien tonight and hopefully conk out before the bullshit starts kicking in. So no, tonight. I know. Look, one thing I think you realize now, my intentions are truly to end the shows a little earlier for all of us to get a little break because we do so many shows. But we get caught in these great conversations. We laugh. We talk about things, and I know sometimes I go way too long with topics, but that's what ends up happening. But tonight I really, truly, and maybe we won't have to talk about this today. Maybe we won't have to talk about that controversy. That I'm at a loss for words with that right now. A little bit lost for words. Shout out to Neil Ray. Hasn't been watching much the last 2 weeks. Dude, you don't need to apologize. Guy's got a new job. He's kickboxing. He's a gym trainer. And guess what, everybody? He's not just tweeting that and lying about it. I absolutely love anyone that goes out and goes for it. We're all going to fall on our ass. We're going to try to go for things in our life, and we're not going to be able to succeed, but you just keep going for it and going for it and going for it. That's why I said yesterday that MSK video that's floating around social media that they produced talking to Wesley and Nash Carter, especially after they won the cup, and you hear Nash Carter talking about his mom and his dad, and Wesley said something that really stuck with me, and he said there are people who say they're going to do it, and there's people that actually go out and do it. And that sums up pretty much what I always aim to do. You see people making promises over and over and over again, and there's no excuses. Rush Limbaugh just died, and I know a lot of you do not like him. I was never a big fan of him. I enjoyed a lot of his logic, but I know about the controversy from years ago and everything, and maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. But even him, he said that usually when people don't do something, it's because of an excuse of their doing. They're making. You could blame it on other situations only so many times. But at the end of the day, it's the person just deciding not going for it. So I love it, man. Neil, no need to apologize. Hell no. So anyway, you want to laugh a little bit? Okay. This runs, let's see, let me pull up the video. Here it is. This runs 10 minutes. This was an opening event that I was, part of the show. I was always managing a few people. Believe it or not, in the coming weeks, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces of me working with, and, it's pretty surprising. But there was a whole big storyline going on with a bunch of people, and basically Shark Boy, who, I was friendly with at that time. I haven't talked to him in a few years, to be honest with you, but I was bringing in Shark Boy as a big surprise for our local Fed. And he got caught in a snowstorm. I know a fish got caught in a snowstorm, but he couldn't make it. But it was all over the net that Shark Boy was going to appear. So I felt bad, and I wanted to let everybody know that he was supposed to be there and everything, but the whole idea was to set up a match. Now, the funny thing about this, and a lot of this I haven't talked about. Oh, VJ. Today was the day for DT's second shot. Do I think Serena Deeb is hot or not? Oh, he's a poet. Steve Borden showed up and felt the wrath of Cage. Candido's book is an interesting fact about Dallas Page. I like it. I like it, VJ. I like it. Oh, you got a gym trainer. I thought you were a gym trainer. That's okay, man. You're still training. That's all right. And maybe one day you'll be training others. So awesome, man. Seriously, awesome. Do you know yours truly actually got a legit holy shit chant? This was 13 years ago, before everything got holy shit chants. And if you look at it closely, these weren't regular guardrails that are hollow, that people pick up with one arm during matches and throw it on people. This was heavy steel. And when you see what happens to me, you see I broke the guardrails. And yours truly actually got a holy shit chant. Now, I teased it on Twitter earlier. I played 90 seconds of it. I didn't play the whole 10 minutes. So I think you'll really get a kick out of this. Sit back, relax, and never before seen online. And we will have more to come. So let me, hold on. All right, here we go.
Welcome to the second-year anniversary show. Starting off. Oh, it's Jerry Fitzwater.
Happy anniversary,
Oh, I love this song.
happy anniversary, happy
Oh, man.
Quick, funny tidbit. This guy lives 1 block away from me. Kid you not. 1 block away from me.
Oh, man, this is great. This is awesome. This is Grammy Award winning. Oh, my God. I love this guy. Whoa, look at the vocals. What a rendition.
Ralphus.
Yes, that was incredible. Wow, what a way to start off a second anniversary.
Indie shows was so much fun, man.
The ladies are loving it.
Oh, I love you.
Oh man, I love you too, Earl. I love Terry Fitzwater.
All right. I have to say, that's a huge miss. Being a celebrity, it is not easy.
Who's that in the
I
ring with
couldn't
him?
walk the streets alone, so I had to.
Let me know what you think of my pants, by the way. I still got them, but they're like 6 sizes too big.
Some security.
Oh man, his own personal security guard.
That's right.
He needs it.
Ladies, I know it, but you have to keep them back when they do that. All right? I'd like to introduce you to my new head of security, Mikey.
Oh, Mike, look at that. What a tough individual that guy looks. He's tough as nails, this guy.
All right. And Mikey, I'll tell you what I got for you.
Oh, man.
Just to make it official, all right? Just to make it official, I have my head of security badge.
Oh, my
A
goodness.
badge of honor, Mikey. This means that you will protect me regardless of the consequences.
Personal security
And this is
guard.
a special badge I would like to give to you?
Look at those hardcore abs right there. Look at that six-pack. Who needs a six-pack when you got a keg like that? Oh, he's pinning him. It's official now.
I miss pre-COVID life too, Mark. We'll be back soon.
Oh, he looks like he's having
All right, here we go.
trouble
Here's where it gets fun.
Oh, it's official.
It is official.
It's official. He
My
said
new
it.
head of security here on the Jerry Fitzwater show here at the second anniversary of EPW. No. No, sir, you are fantastic. We have some
Neil,
special
man.
guests here tonight.
God, thank you.
Let's give a hand to Don Tony, Mac Daddy Flex, and Jay Lover.
All
Let's bring it
right.
out here. Let's go.
The music is low, so I don't think we'll get hit with any flags from YouTube. I checked it. I actually uploaded it earlier. I used to love that song. It's Goodfellas, so.
Should I start singing another?
Neil, man, thank you so much for that. That was very kind of you.
Anyone? Requests? No.
All right, get ready.
Well, that'll probably be
Like I
some
said,
fun,
we got 60 or 70 of these to share. I'm going to just let them all out. Here we go.
Now, young man, I
Nice
can sense
family
an athlete.
atmosphere. Yeah! Look at that gut.
Jay Lover and Mac Daddy Flex. Oh man, they better not touch Cherry Fitzwater with Mikey, the head of security, right there. This guy's tough as nails. Cherry
Honestly,
Fitzwater
I
only
sucked.
hires the best.
I think my promo was actually halfway decent because I didn't stutter at all. And I think I would be 10 times better now than I was back then. I'm telling you, man, we're going to have so much fun on this channel.
Oh, whoa, no, not the hair, not the hair.
What do you think of my
Don't
pants?
do that to Cherry Fitzwater.
The Italian colors.
This it is not, my friend. Mikey. Excuse me. It took hours of Fitzwater to get this the way it is.
Kamala.
What are you talking about? This is ridiculous, all right? The sheer notion. Now listen, Don Tony.
I got a question. If something broke out in here tonight, if something happened, what the hell is he gonna do?
He's an expert of mixed martial arts.
Oh, he is. He's training the mixed
I told you, I got 3 promotions that want me to do stuff. As soon as
And
COVID is over, I'm going to do them.
My friend.
You see it on his waist right now.
What happened to your suit? Usually you are dressed to the nines out here. You are spiffed out. What happened?
He looks better than you!
Listen, before we go any further, I have to let everybody know something legit. There was going to be a surprise.
I forget what wrestler was telling me to tape up my fingers.
You'll see for yourself, this is not any story, and I have to let everybody know. We weren't even going to say anything tonight, but I thought it was the appropriate thing to do.
And look,
I had a surprise.
this was before my hair
They're gonna come
plugs.
in tonight as a favor to me to take on Jay Static, basically take him out, and that was going to be Shark Boy. Unfortunately, Shark Boy lives in Dayton, Ohio, and for those who watch the Weather Channel, they got hit with a blizzard and he got snowed in over there. He couldn't make it tonight. Now, we didn't announce it because, things happen, but I promise everybody the next show.
Here's where I cut, I guess, a promo.
If you accept him into this family, he will be here permanently. Shark Boy will be here.
All right, that's great. Look, Don Tony bringing him in. Shark Boy. I can't wait.
Now on to something a little bit more serious.
And keep in mind, I'm about 40 pounds heavier, 50 pounds heavier there.
You're making me feel better with those pins, but
What the?
last show, all serious, the last show, something happened to us that has never happened before. We got our asses kicked. And I'm not a wrestler. I'm not going to even pretend to be a wrestler. And the last thing that I said in this ring was that the next time I come here, that I was going to beat the pants, I have to say it nicely, out of Best Bodies, and I wasn't going to use a wrestling move. So tonight, there was supposed to be a tag team match. My two guys over here versus Joe So Atrocious and Saboteur. But I made an offer to VPW that they couldn't refuse, and I figured you would prefer that a little bit more. And that is tonight in this ring, Mac Daddy Flex, Jay Lover, and yours truly, versus Best Bodies, Atrocious, Saboteur, and Tony Ho. Tony Ho.
Hey, that's Tony Ho.
I forgot. No disqualification, street fight, anything goes.
Oh, anything goes.
So Best Bodies,
Oh my
let's your whole like
goodness. That's just the way he likes it.
Why don't you come out here and accept the challenge to our faces and see if you want to fight us tonight?
He accept the challenge. Well, Best Bodies is accepted.
All right, go check out my brawling skills. Here it comes.
Oh, here's
Make sure you pay attention to me.
There's Tony Lowe, and there's the masculine Marvel. Sabotage. Oh, we're about to have a melee right here.
Threw his ass out the ring.
Protect Jerry. Mikey better.
All right, watch. Look what happens.
Lead him out the ring.
That's it.
Get Jerry out of there. Oh my goodness. Oh, he ran right into the guard railing. Oh,
Broke the, totally collapsed the guardrails. Holy shit, Chad coming.
Relations going at it. We got Jay Lowe. Oh, who's this? It's the rest of the locker room. Clear it out. Wow. Oh, they just trying to help clear the ring. Maintain order. Look at all there's the head of security. Oh my goodness. Wow, the chaos. They gotta hold it back. Look at that. Look at that. The bad blood between these two groups. Oh my God, Joseph is taking a DC Diamond. Back Daddy.
That was on my shoulder.
Tony Lowe. Delicious still going out with Flex. Chop Saw's out there. Oh my God, Sabotage still going at it. Oh my goodness. Oh my God, where have you been? It's the second year anniversary. Oh my goodness. This match, it's just chaos. Oh, it's everyone. Best Bodies Inc. Don Tony's crew and security and the rest of the VPW locker room finally maintaining order. Wow. What a way to start our anniversary show. Wow, Tony Lowe's got to be held to the back. Oh, look at Jay Lover. There's bad blood between these two groups, Earl. Wow.
They said that there was going to be a street fight later.
A street fight, anything goes. They're still going at it. Anything's going right now. They should just have the fight. They should just ring the bell. Get it going. I can't wait. Don Tony's gonna step in the ring now. He is not a trained wrestler. He's a manager.
He's wrestling ping pong right now.
He means business.
See, the guy slapped me in the arm. Hold on, let me shut this off. All right, there we go. The guy slapped me in the arm on the way out, and I was like, oh, come on. That wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad. You know, it's funny. I mean, I would repeatedly get put down over and over and over again from, you know, like people that just didn't like me. Always putting me down, always saying that I was horrible, horrendous. You know, for an indie promotion, 400 fans, family atmosphere, I don't think that was that bad. And like I said, I got tons of this stuff. So I figured I would share it. People have been asking me. I mean, this one is from March 2008. This is about 13 years ago. But I got stuff that's over like 3-4 year span. And people have always asked me to put this stuff online, and I just felt like, you know, I didn't think it was very good. And like I said, you know, one day I'll reveal who the wrestler was that talked me into doing it. But, Yeah, so we'll start throwing those online, mostly Thursday nights to have some laughs, some fun. But yeah, oh man, I have the one where I started saying shit about Louis, pretending to be Disney World when you win the Super Bowl. You just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? Balls Mahoney beat the shit out of Louis. And I came out there and I did the Disney World promo. And I'm like, Louis, you just got your ass kicked. You're an embarrassment to your wife, your pregnant wife, and your soon-to-be child. What are you going to do next? And then he pushes me aside. And I was like, I shouldn't be able to say these things to you. And he whaled me with a fucking chair. I hit the floor. My watch broke into a million pieces. And people were laughing their ass off at me. I have the Xbox video that I've always talked about. For those that don't know, I think it might have even been the second Chris Candido Memorial show. Basically, before I became the Don Tony character, the name, I was Tony Cannoli. And I was bringing cannolis to the shows. And what would happen is I would give out cannolis at ringside. And after I gave out the cannolis, I had a tray, a weapon. And that was my way of sneaking a weapon to the ring and giving it to whoever I was managing. So doing the cannolis, people at ringside would always eat the cannolis. And I would always have a great time with them. But because I was, I guess you would say, a heel, they would always make fun of me instead. I mean, I didn't take it personal. So I decided that the next show, I was going to take about 30 boxes of X-Lax. Not real X-Lax, but 30 boxes of X-Lax. And I was going to take everything out of the boxes, put it in a shopping bag. And I came out and I gave everybody cannolis. And once again, I got, like chair shot or something. And then later on, I got on the mic and I basically berated everybody at ringside. And I said, oh, you're all my friends when I come with free food. I said, I hope you all enjoyed those cannolis. I didn't say nothing else. I just dumped the shopping bag in the ring, and about 30 empty X-Lax boxes came out. I started getting pelted with hot dogs, started getting pelted with cans. I don't think it was any bottles. But then the infamous intermission. It was intermission, and I was hanging out near the front door, and some big juiced up guy comes up to me, and he's got his son with him. His son is about 5, 6, maybe 7 years old, and his son was chubby. His son was a fat little 7-year-old. So he comes up to me, he's like, listen, he says, I know that we're at intermission right now. He says, but I got to ask you an honest question. He says, did you really put X-Lax in the cannolis? I really need to know because my son ate one of them. And me, I always, when I ever did anything with managing, I always used the Bobby Heenan thinking. Bobby Heenan would always say that when the show is on, no matter what happens, you have to do whatever you have to do to make it not only realistic, but you have to act like what would someone else do in your shoes. So, somebody goes after you, you jump that guardrail, you do this, you try to do everything possible. Yeah, you don't act like a bad horror film that you freeze in the corner and this and that. So when this guy asked me and the show was still on, my immediate thought was, I got to still be Tony Cannoli, because the show hasn't ended yet. So I looked at him and I looked at the kid and I said to him, very nice, I'm like, look, whether I tell you I did or I didn't, your son right now has a big soda in his hand. He probably ate a hot dog and he ate a cannoli. I said, could you only imagine what's going on in his stomach right now? So whatever I tell you, he may have an upset stomach anyway. This guy started getting beet red. And within 3 seconds, like I had the Bobby Heenan Don Tony on this shoulder, and then I had common sense Don Tony on this shoulder. And when I saw his face get pissed off, when I basically said, look, your son is fat, and he probably ate other things that gave him upset stomach. As soon as I saw that look, I said, do you really think I would put X-Lax in the cannolis? I would never do that. That's poison. And he's like, I figured, but I just, so I was like, fuck it, man. I am not getting my ass kicked for something like that. But I have the video of the X-Lax. I got tons and tons of stuff. My God. That's why, like I say, you know, these shows and doing this stuff is a lot of fun. But especially Thursday night, we could just hang out, relax, talk about whatever's on your mind. It doesn't always have to be wrestling. You know, we could just chill and have some fun. That's what this is about. This is not WWE. This is not AEW. I mean, this is just regular indie wrestling. And, you know, some of what you'll see with yours truly is awful. Some of it is awful. Some of it, maybe it's not as bad as I always thought it was. But, you know, once we get back from COVID and they start doing shows again, like I said, 3 different promotions asked me since last year, dude, would you be interested in doing some managing stuff again? And I said, sure. I feel 10 times. First of all, as I was joking earlier, you know, my hair is not thin anymore. So I got more hair now than I did back then. I'm about 50 pounds lighter from that video. I don't have as much pain as before. I can actually move around a little bit better now. And I got a dozen to 15 years, you know, more later on that, you know, you watch stuff. I mean, I look at what I did before and it's got to be better than what it was at that time. No experience at all. So, and people say to me that I look better now than I did on that video that was 13 years ago. So yeah, we're going to be doing stuff, man. I would never bullshit any of you out there. You know, of course, there's going to be things that I want to do and it doesn't happen. Happens to all of us. It really does. It happens to all of us. But I'm not going to be one of those that only makes empty promises just to keep a name out there. You see it almost every day. People will make, you know, comments about this and this and this, get all this support back. Oh, yeah, can't wait. Oh, good, this, that. And you realize it's just to feel relevant. And that's something that's a position I don't ever want to be in. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm glad you all liked it. And I truly believe that you liked it. You're not just, you know, trying to be nice to me. So, you know, pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. So a couple of quick shout outs. Neil Ray, once again, you know, much love to you. And seriously, you did not have to do that. That is very, very kind of you. He said that a while back, he did tell me, he says once he gets his new job and he starts banking that coin, he was going to make it rain over here. Dude, you know, I thank you. You know, I mean, it's just very, very generous of you. And he's learning so he can have an e-commerce business on Amazon, renting out houses. That is awesome, man. Renting out houses, you know, like Airbnbs. I know I have a friend of mine that just bought a house in Connecticut, not Medford. I don't remember the town, but he bought a house and he's turning it into an Airbnb. You know, my father had a piece of property and he just sold it in Florida and he was getting up to $700 a night for people to rent it out on Marco Island. So that is definitely a moneymaker if you have the right area. So yeah, Neil sticks to his word. I seriously, and I'm not just saying that because of your generous gift. You know, I love people out there that, you know, that are genuine. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is just being genuine. I mean, none of us are perfect. None of us are going to all be able to do what we aspire to. There's tons of things that I want to do I'll never be able to do, you know, but if you try and you're not just making excuses, I mean, you can't disrespect that. That's awesome. Good, man. I love the aspirations, seriously. You know, there's always a saying, you know, it's better to have loved once and lost than to have never loved before. You could use that in business too. It's better to have attempted and tried something and fail than to have never tried it at all. So, by the way, yeah, you are on this card. Where are you on this card? I got to show. Oh, yeah, there you are. There you are. So I'm going to see him tomorrow, give it to him tomorrow. So, Shout out also to Jay Carlos. He says, that was better than Raw the past 5 years. Like I said, I had very little experience at that time. And also I had a lot of people online that were just putting me down over and over and over again. The only time that I honestly thought I was doing a halfway decent job, and I'll never forget it. There's a guy, I know a lot of you know who he is, Sean McCaffrey. He doesn't really do wrestling anymore, and he's not a bad guy. I mean, you know, he did not like me at all and did everything he could to sabotage anything that I was involved with wrestling. You know, that storyline that I was doing with New Jack and Louie would have been one of the most fun storylines that ever could have been done, and he sabotaged that shit with New Jack in the box that I wanted to do. And, oh, and by the way, when you see this match, maybe I'll play it next week, you'll see the infamous spot that I wanted to do. Cameras caught it a little bit, but I wanted to do it in the middle of the ring, and I wanted EMS to come out. The reason why it didn't happen, for those that don't know what I'm talking about, when we had this street fight match, I wanted someone to wrap me in bubble wrap, but wrap my head, wrap everything in bubble wrap, and I was going to make sure that I would have an air pocket somewhere. And I wanted someone to wrap me with bubble wrap so much that I can't get out of it and I'm suffocating, and I was going to pass out in the ring. They were going to have EMS run to the ring, and then they have to cut the bubble wrap out. And the promotion itself said no. They said, we don't want kids crying. We don't want kids thinking that you're suffocating to death. So they did wrap me with the bubble wrap, but it looks more like a comedy segment than anything else. So yeah, so we'll probably show that next week. Absolutely, man. But, you know, but getting back to Sean the Mick always put me down. You go and you watch that video again of me stapling that contract to Louie. My name at that time, I think it was Don Tony already. And he refused to, it was either Don Tony or Tony Cannoli. And he refused to use my wrestling name. He kept saying, Anthony DeBlasi. What's that money mark Anthony DeBlasi doing? And I thought that was so disrespectful at the time. When I started going to the school and training and trying to really, you know, I legitimately trained for about 8 months. I can't tell you how many times I threw up. I tried. And towards the latter end of working for this promotion, right before Fat Frank, you know, gave me an offer to do the school shows that he would do, not Jersey All Pro Wrestling, but the school that he would do also, this guy Sean did a review for one of these shows. And the review is online somewhere, and I should grab a copy and show you maybe next time. But at the very end, he says, you know, he criticized the whole show, said the show was terrible. And he said that the best part of the show, as far as who did the best, was me on the microphone and the managerial work. I took dives from people, you know, and it felt good to get a compliment like that. But you look back on it, and it sucks to, you know, really want to do it and just have people throwing darts at you over and over and over again. And, you know, it is what it is. But you know what? Thank you, Southern Love, for the kind words. But, you know, maybe we'll do it again. And if we do it again, you know, we'll have new, fresh video. And then we could see if it's any better than before. But thank you, Jay Carlos, for the kind words. Tyree Jones, he's loving Roman Reigns' heel persona. How long before Vince gets antsy and decides to turn him back babyface? Look, Roman Reigns did the interview with Ryan Satin recently. Roman Reigns came out he was really down to earth. He was not an asshole in the video. Roman Reigns is still a good guy. In the ring, because there's LED screens and you don't have live kids in attendance, you know, they're going with this character more than anything else. And like I said, there's a lot that benefited Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns, I even think, said in an interview recently that he benefited in a lot of ways because of COVID, because some of the things that they were able to do would not have been able to have been done if they had live fans there. Case in point, the Hell in a Cell match with Jey Uso, the cage match, whatever it was. I mean, with the mic and hearing every little thing, you have crowd noise that loud. I mean, sure, you would hear it on the mic, but the fact that they didn't have to have a mic in their hand and Roman Reigns, I love you, and really hearing, you could even hear him fart if he would have farted. Alexa Bliss, all of that hocus pocus stuff on TV, that was all pre-recorded. And like I said, the people in Thunderdome, if you know how Thunderdome works, they didn't see the opposite side of the ring. They didn't see, that somebody put in the ring. They see what we see on TV. That's why, like I said, when somebody is at ringside in Thunderdome, unless they see themselves on TV, if a wrestler walks by, you're not on Thunderdome and say, holy shit, Matt Riddle just tried to fist bump my LED screen. No. Whether you're right smack ringside or you're all the way in the corner on the opposite side of TV, everybody sees the same camera angle. So a lot of what you see right now is because of COVID. Now, once you get fans in attendance, somebody has to be the role model for the children. Yes, Bianca Belair. Yes, you have Sasha Banks and others. But there's got to be a real, hardcore male role model. And, they may have to tweak Roman Reigns a little bit. We'll see. Daniel Bryan still is, but Daniel Bryan is not, on a full-time schedule like before. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, and crazy Cruiserweight. Make sure if we do the show tomorrow night. Oh, by the way, if I can't do it tomorrow because of weather, I'll do it Saturday. But I'll probably be able to do it tomorrow night. Make sure you check out the intro tomorrow night, Cruiserweight. You actually made it. You made the intro, believe it or not. Jason Lynn, Dots, Whoppers, Charleston Chew, Jujubes, or Raisinets. Now, I've had them all in my lifetime. Out of all of these, if I go from most favorite to least favorite, and by the way, I never was really a big fan of any of these. If anything, maybe Whoppers, with that the center. It's like biting into something hollow and then you get that center. But probably on this list, Raisinets would be number one for me. Then it would be Whoppers. Then it would be Dots. Then it would be Jujubes. And Charleston Chew at the very end. That Charleston Chew would hurt my jaw. I don't mind that chewy stuff, but you would chew on some things sometimes and your jaw would hurt. I mean, sometimes it would stick to your teeth. And you ever have that where you bite into a candy and it sticks to the top and the bottom of the back of your mouth and you're like this, trying to separate it? That shit hurts, man. That hurts. Dots were okay. Dots, the only thing is with the paper, I can't tell you how many times, because I couldn't get the candy out of the paper, I would just put the paper in my mouth. You would have like a piece of paper with a bunch of dots on it, and you try to pull it out. How many of you tried to pull those dots off of the paper, and a piece of the paper comes off with it, and you're like, fuck it, and you just eat it with the paper too? Definitely did that a few times. Absolutely, man. Neil, thank you again, man. Yeah, I will definitely look, seriously. New York just returned to 25% dining, indoor dining. Yeah, Dots are the worst, Lee. Dots sucked. But they were good. When you were able to get them in your mouth, they were good. But, we just got back to 25% indoor dining. My father still is obviously weeks away at minimum to possibly go get something to eat. He's got the second shot now, so in about 2 weeks, he should be pretty much 100% immune for this virus. Yes, if he gets exposed to someone, he could still have some symptoms, but at least it's not a life-threatening situation anymore. So without a doubt, in a couple of weeks, we are definitely going to take him out to dinner. My guess would probably be like 2 to 3 weeks from now. And trust me, when we do, I will definitely shoot a little video, and I will thank you. Say, Neil, that appetizer's from you, my friend. Seriously. And he said he never saw someone as tough as my father, inspirational. You know, like I said, I mean, all of us, you know, most of us put our parents on, you know, a tier, an upper tier that we'll never reach. I know some of you out there, some of you have told me stories over the years. Some of you, let's be honest, more on the father side than the mother side, had a dirtbag for a dad. Some of you have told me that your father left you when your mom was pregnant with you. Not to get too deep, but I'll tell you a little something right now that you have never heard me say before. You always hear me talk about on my mother's side. My grandmother, my grandfather, on my father's side, I always said that they pretty much only spoke Italian. So I never really was able to have that really deep connection with them, but they were wonderful people as well. In fact, I'll show you a picture of them next week. I'll make sure, but I don't talk too much about my father's parents because for that reason. My mother's mother, my grandmother, is the one who got me into wrestling. You've seen a picture of her before. And I've always talked about it. She's the one that I went over her house as a little kid watching wrestling for the first time. You've heard me talk about my grandmother countless times. You never hear me ever talk about my grandfather, my mom's dad. Well, the truth is that my mom's dad left my grandmother when my mother was only like 2 years old. My mom never got to meet her father, you know, and it's a very touchy situation, especially some of you saw some of the pictures that I posted online about a month ago, some personal photos. I said my mom and I were going through old albums, and it's very, very touchy because she has albums from my grandmother who died in 1991, and occasionally a picture will pop up of her father, and I see what she does. She takes the picture and she just turns it upside down on the other side of the table. So I understand, you know, Lewis, his dad's in prison right now. So I understand not every parent, you know, is put on a pedestal. But my father truly, and I swear, even if he wasn't my dad, I'd still say it, he is by far the toughest son of a bitch that I've ever come across in my lifetime. His work ethic is why I'm here almost every day. Patreon, YouTube, you know, whatever, you know, trying to strive to be the best I possibly can, never being content with status quo, you know, and I definitely got that worth ethic from him. So, Crazy Cruiserweight, did I read your Inner Circle pattern super chat? I will right now. I will right now. The Inner Circle. 1 week having, oh man, I hope we have the quarter-hour ratings tomorrow. The Inner Circle, 1 week having dinner together. Next, we have a fist fight. Next, they're all on the same page. Next, Hager and MJF arm wrestle. Next, everyone is fine and buying tacos. I know he's talking about things that are not, but you see what's going on. You see what's going on. Can I bring something up for you all? Remember last week? Last week, AEW, their rating was 741,000 with Kenta wrestling. 741,000. Do you remember what we talked about last week? We addressed all of those goofs out there that blamed the low rating on the impeachment hearings. Remember all that last Wednesday? Oh, news. Remember? Oh, yeah, let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Take me 2 seconds. Let me pull up the image. Remember this last week? Let me find it. I will find it. It'll take me 2 seconds. It'll be worth it. Remember this last week? Can't believe it's already a week. Hold on. I just had it. Oh, there we go. Remember this last week? Remember this? They blamed the AEW rating on the news, and we compared last week to the week before, and there were less people from 8 to 10 watching the news compared to the week before. Remember this grid last week? Okay. So, look, there's always a chance we could be wrong. It's okay. Last week, AEW scored 741. Blame it on the impeachment hearings. You know what they scored yesterday? My prediction was 744. Their rating yesterday was 747. Their rating went up 6,000 from last week. Remember, last week, the rating was extremely low due to the impeachment hearings. And we ripped that son of a bitch to shreds. And this week, it only went up 6,000. Once again, as I will keep repeating, these websites, these podcasters, these bloggers, these people who are rabid about AEW, and AEW soaks in their appreciation, they are the ones hurting AEW more than anything else, because they're the ones that hear, and again, it's not AEW's fault, it's not Tony Khan's fault. I've been saying for 15 years that we're in the pussification of America. That's what I said 15 years ago, pussification of America. Since 2006, I've been saying it, pussification of America. So these wrestlers, that's why this, see this? Natty, extremely upset. Matt Cardona, very upset. Other people saying like, wow, how rude is that to, demean women like that? I'll get to that in a minute, but my point is, everybody would rather just have cake and ice cream all day long than to be told the blunt truth. That's why sometimes when I talked about things in the past, I remember when I said people got angry at the messenger and not the message. No, let's not get angry at the person who fucked up and this is it. Let's get angry at the person who got angry about it. So all of these places, these wrestlers, these promotions would rather just soak in all the positive, all the love. And that's fine. But when you shut out all the criticism, and then your wrestlers do interviews, oh, these people are just stuck in the old times. These people need to adapt. These people this, people that. This is the result. This is the result. Every goddamn week, these people will throw demos in your face. AEW's demo was twice as much than NXT. Well, geniuses, then how come AEW is not making twice as much money than WWE? These people are hurting these companies. And unfortunately, we're talking on deaf ears. Some people do hear what we all say, but they'll never appreciate it publicly. Mish will tell you this more than anything else. When we used to criticize Dixie and TNA, I haven't even put that speech when I did that church thing for 15 minutes, ripping Dixie Carter when they went head-to-head with WWE that time, and she said it was David versus Goliath. Some of you remember that rant. Mish will tell you, over the years, we would get individual wrestlers in TNA email us and say, dude, don't mention my name publicly. I don't want to have any issues or any heat from this. I don't want anybody to know, but you guys spot on what you're saying. So people do hear it, but they'd rather just soak in the love. Seriously. It's like The Rock. Seriously. A lot of these promotions, when they go online and everything is epic, unbelievable, amazing, epic. I cried, epic, amazing. It's like The Rock. They're like this. That's what these people behind the scenes are doing. When they go on social media and see a couple of jerk-offs, that'll just troll. Yeah, trolls are jerk-offs. But when they see some constructive criticism, oh no, these people are just outdated, need to adapt. Then they'll bypass that for all the epic, amazing, unbelievable. Something tells me when The Rock used to do that on the top rope, I don't think he actually had to breathe in when he did it. He probably just did this. I don't think he went there and went. I don't know if you heard that. That kind of hurt. So, yeah, Inner Circle. Oh, Neil Ray, it's Ken's birthday. Ken terminated by DQ. Happy birthday, Ken. How old are you? You going to reveal it? Ken, happy birthday, man. Jay Carlos also wishes you a happy birthday. Unfortunately, they gave me money to buy the cake, and I'm eating the cake. So, but you know what, Ken, because it is your birthday, DM me any shirt you want, any promotion. Take two if you want. Get a Deli Club mask. Pick two things. One will be from Jay Carlos. The other one will be from Neil. So much love. Much love. Tyree, words of advice. He works at a hospital and he wants to take the vaccine, but he's nervous because of some people dying within hours of taking the vaccine. He wants some words of advice from me. Okay. This goes out to you, Tyree, and everyone tuning in. I could die tomorrow. My dad could die tomorrow. My mom, my neighbor, my brother, one of you could die tomorrow. Unfortunately, sometimes it's bad timing. I go out to dinner. How many of you have heard this over the years? Oh, we went out to dinner with my grandfather last night. He came home and he went to sleep and never woke up. You blame it on the dinner? No. Just unfortunately, it was his time to go. Trust me when I tell you, the hundreds of millions of dollars being put into these vaccines and the studies and everything going on, they are researching every little possible issue that someone has. Someone who is in poor health, whether they got a needle in their arm for COVID vaccine, or they got a flu shot, or they had sugar water injected in their arm, or if it was a B shot from Braun Strowman, they could have still passed. I personally think that I would rather have a side effect from the vaccine than to get COVID, period. Because I've seen on video some of these lungs of what happened to people's lungs because they caught COVID. You look at that, you see all that black and that green and yellow, and it's awful. So if someone gets the shot and unfortunately dies a day later, a few hours later, they're doing autopsies, they're checking blood, they're checking everything to see. When you watch Forensic Files and they talk about like some type of medication that, disappears in the body and it's almost untraceable. I can't remember the name of it right now. They can track every little thing. So if it was due to a germ, they would know about it and it would be brought to the public. So honestly, man, I know people in their 90s that got the vaccine. I've had customers who told me point blank, I'm not getting that shit. I'm not getting that. I've had people, change their mind. I don't blame you or anyone else to be hesitant about getting this vaccine. I know periodically, because I do feel flustered. Right now I'm 98.0. Now tomorrow, I'll pick it up later. Now, tomorrow is the day where I'll probably get the side effects, but I'm just saying, James, He just sent me an email. Did I see it? No, I'm doing a show right now. I promise you I'll look after the show. I don't have my email open, but I'll definitely check it. I promise you. Will, come on, Will. Don't do that, Will. Will, come on. You're really going to make me do that, Will? Shit. Always somebody. Always somebody. But seriously, you know, I'm telling you that I know a lot. Yeah, you know what? All right, Will, I'm sorry, Will. I don't know where you're tuning in, but we got to do it at least once. Because I enjoy doing it at least once on the show. Will! Sorry, Will. Nothing personal. But seriously, you see, put it this way. You've had a couple of people die, unfortunately, short after they got the shot. There's been no evidence that the shot caused it. But you see hundreds and hundreds, 400,000 plus in the U.S., millions getting killed because of this virus. You look at those numbers that way, I would say that this is probably safe. That's my honest opinion. That's my honest opinion. No, Mr. Mike, we had someone that was saying some not so nice words to some out there. So it's all good. Anyway, want to do the contest? How long have we been going? We've been going an hour and 10. Let's do the contest. All right? This is what we got to do. This is the prize today. We're bringing it back again. All right. Can we see it? Yeah, I think that's pretty good. All right. We're bringing it back again. The numbers are still the same. I think next time I'm going to get the eraser. In fact, you know what? Should we do it? Should we do it? You know what? It's been a great night. We've had a lot of fun. I'm sorry for doing this live on the show. Why is it not coming off? Oh, I know why. I'm doing housework live on the show. There we go. I just took the 10. And no, Neil, I didn't increase that because of your generosity. That will go to my dad. This comes out of my pocket, I promise you. So we just changed the 10 to a 50. By the way, shout out to everybody who is on the other channels, Twitch, Facebook, Periscope, Daily Motion. Sorry, you know, you have a couple of seconds, shoot up on YouTube. Maybe you'll win. Here's the contest. No, Neil, I swear to you. I promise you. That's something totally different. Like I said, that cameo video, I'm freaking pissed off, man. I should have put it in this computer and showed you the video. I'll show it to you next week. I don't want to do it tomorrow, and I'll tell you why. Because the audience we have on Thursdays, there's many people here on Thursday. Well, let me rephrase it. There's many people on Friday that don't tune in on Thursday. They just want straight up wrestling, SmackDown, Elimination Chamber. They don't care about the personal talk, politics, or anything else. So I try to leave them off of Monday and Friday, and even Wednesday. So next Thursday, I will show you. So, all right, check it out. This is the contest today. There are, I don't think you have to name 5 names. 4. You have to name 4. You don't have to put the first and last name for each one. So I will give you an example. If the answer would be Charlotte, Bailey, Sasha, and Becky, 4 horsewomen. You don't have to write Lynch. You don't have to write Banks. You don't have to write Flair. You could write either name. You could write Banks Or you could write Sasha. You don't have to put the first and last name. But the answer for this contest is 4 names. Now, I know for a fact some of you are going to try to Google this for the answer. It is going to be hard to Google it and get the answer that quickly. And like I said earlier, the theme of this contest has to do with last night's Dynamite. Last night, Kenny Omega announced that he and Moxley will have an exploding barbed wire death match at Revolution for the AEW title. So the topic for tonight's contest has to do with exploding barbed wire death matches. So I'm going to ask you a question, and there are 4 names that are the answer. You have to list all 4 names. You can't list 1 or 2. You have to list all 4 names. It's a pretty cool question. Some of you, if you enjoyed my history shows, you'll get this in 2 seconds. And whoever wins, I'll spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, that's what you get. I'll give you either a money order, PayPal, Amazon e-gift card. So let's put the chat room back on the screen. So it's documented. I know, and there was a little controversy last week. Let me just tell you. Last week, when YouTube played back the show, some of the picks were a little bit out of sync with the content. Now, it didn't change the order, but the point is that when multiple people tweet at a particular time, let's say 11:21, which is what it is right now, what happens is they're not in all the same order sometimes, but as long as they're the same minute. That's why I put it on the screen where everybody could see it, because this YouTube does not change this later on. YouTube might update the chat replay, and some of the comments that are posted at the same time may not sync up. So what you see on the screen right now, Space Mountain Woo, shout out to you, my friend. Nuclear Heat, shout out to both of you. You know, they are members of our YouTube family. Just signed up last week for memberships. Want to shout out the members of the family. All right, we'll shout them out after the contest. All right, so now I'm going to ask you the question. You got to give me all 4 names. There are 2 questions, 2 parts. Just name me the 4 names. First person who gets it wins. Here we go. Everybody ready? 1997. 1997. Right smack of the Monday Night Wars. WWF getting their ass kicked from WCW. ECW about to do their first ever pay-per-view. And they did a little bit of cross-promotion with WWF. ECW showed up on Raw. You know the whole deal. So anyway, in 1997... Onita from FMW actually came to WWF headquarters. That is the actual. Oh, wait. We gotta. I cannot let the chat room out. Onita went to WWF headquarters and actually met with Vince McMahon. And Onita wanted to bring an exploding barbed wire death match to the WWF and proposed the match to take place in 1997. Don't answer yet, because I didn't say both questions. Question number 1, who were the 2 people that were supposed to be involved in that barbed wire exploding death match? And, don't type it yet, because you got to get the other 2 also. The arrangement was that WWF was going to send 2 WWF wrestlers to perform for FMW in the fall of 1997. And the main event of that event was an exploding barbed wire death match. So Vince sent 2 WWF wrestlers to FMW to perform. And then when Vince saw the main event, which was, I think, Wing Kanamura and Onita and saw the exploding match, he's like, no fucking way. So what I want to know is what two wrestlers were supposed to be in the exploding death match, and what two wrestlers went to FMW and had a match that were WWF wrestlers. So far, no one has got it right. Oh, wait. No, we got a winner. We got a winner. We got a winner. We got a winner. You know what? Yeah, we got a winner. Dynasty 215. He is the winner. I knew it was going to be fairly quick. Here's basically the story. WWF was doing a little bit of cross-promoting with ECW. ECW, if you remember, was doing an ECW versus FMW event. So Onita met with Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and I'm a little pissed off because Jim Ross, not too long ago, was doing one of his shows and asked questions about 1997, and I asked, how serious were they considering doing the exploding death match? Never answered it. So maybe he answered another interview. But anyway, long story short, Onita went to Stamford, Connecticut, met with Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and proposed the exploding barbed wire death match. Now, there's been a little confusion. You think of the Matt Hardy, the Hardy compound. Over the years, people have said that the exploding barbed wire death match was going to take place on Amarillo, Texas, on Terry Funk's ranch. Other people have said Madison Square Garden. I tend to think the ranch is probably more likely because I just can't picture it happening in the garden. So what ended up happening is Vince sent Vader and Ken Shamrock to Japan. Vader, obviously very famous wrestling in Japan, and they performed in an FMW event. I think it was September of 1997. And I think it was supposed to be like a UFC rules match, like it was just supposed to be a shoot fight. And it's actually pretty cool. If you go watch it, it's on YouTube, the match. And Vader wins, and they play Vader's WWF music after he won. So Vince allowed Vader and Ken Shamrock to perform on that FMW event, and the main event was the exploding barbed wire death match, or they got to see Onita do it with Wing Kanamura. So after Vince saw what he saw, he's like, no fucking way. Ain't happening. So FMW did get Shamrock and Vader for one match, but they never did the explosion. So now, Dynasty 215. I'm going to spin the wheel, my friend. By the way, who came in second? I gotta go look back. Let me go back a little bit. Who came in second? Because I know someone came in a close second. Let's see. I'm checking. Okay, here we go. There we go. Spin the wheel, make the deal. Hold on. I'm almost there. It sounds sexual. It's not meant to be. Omega Jar. Oh, no. That's not it. Okay, here we go. There we go. If you look at Dylan List, let's put this near the top. Where? Hold on. Why am I not? Oh, there it is. Okay. There you go. See Dynasty on the top? So who came in second? Dylan List came in second. All right, so you know what? This is what we're going to do. Dylan List came in second. No controversy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the wheel. Whatever it lands on, Dynasty gets that prize. Dylan will also get a prize, but it'll be half of whatever it spins. So if it lands on 50, Dynasty gets 50, and Dylan gets 25. Fair enough? All right. I'm going to spin it. You got 50, 50, 25, 20, 200, a goose egg. Some tells me if we land on the goose egg, I'll spin it again. 75, so you got it. So here we go. We're going to spin it. Again, Dynasty gets whatever it lands on. Dylan gets half of what the number is too. Good luck. $75. So Dynasty, you get $75. Dylan, you get $37.50. They almost landed on the goose egg. So, yeah. So there we go. Look, I thought it was a pretty cool contest. Pretty easy, you know. I mean, I think everybody was going to get Terry Funk and Cactus Jack because of their history in Japan. But Vader and Ken Shamrock is probably where people were getting stumped. But believe me, I tell you, if you were fans of those two guys, go check out the FMW match. You actually will enjoy it. It's not a bad match. I actually watched it today. I was just thinking about last night with Dynamite with the match, and I wanted to come up with something, but nothing too complicated. So, oh, you're very welcome, Dylan. You're very welcome. So, what do you guys want to talk about? Yes, as always, if you're enjoying the show, smash that like button. If you're not a subscriber yet, subscribe. This way you're alerted when, shows and announcements come up. And, if you want to, become a member of the channel, that opportunity is there as well. Go check it out and see what's available. Next week, we're going to do, for our members, we're going to do a little Q&A thing. Mish is going to join me as well. So we'll definitely post that for everybody. So, Mr. Mike, he was trying to think who was crazy enough to do that in 97. You got to remember, ECW, was on crazy-ass momentum. First pay-per-view, hardcore, Monday Night Wars, Attitude Era. So you could see, but look, in the end, Vince McMahon was like, hell no, I'm not doing that. I mean, just think about it. They could have done it on Funk's Ranch. I mean, I don't think it would have cost all that much, and Onita would have taken care of everything. So I thought there was a chance it could happen. And the worst thing that happens is if it's recorded and, they decide not to do it, they don't do it. Kingblingbla, thoughts of Perseverance landing on Mars. Honestly, I love all the footage of Mars and, when they have those motorized things, those little vehicles, and you see, if you're into that stuff, I don't have the name of his channel offhand. There is a guy on YouTube, and all he does is, it's not the same guy, but you'll appreciate this. This guy visually enhances old videos or videos that are not all that great. You know what I've been binge watching the last month or two on YouTube? Not every day, but at least once a week. You know what I binge watch? If you're fascinated with history, if anybody's interested, just tweet me later at Don Tony D, and I will post the link to his channel. This guy takes footage from the 1900s, from 100 years ago, and he digitally enhances it. He colorizes it. He puts it at 60 frames per second. And it is insane because there is footage of New York City from like 1930 or 1920. And it's all colorized, and it's Christmas time, and you see people walking past the stores, and you see what it looks like without cars, with the stores. The digitally enhanced stuff is mind-boggling. But they have footage also on Mars as well. Dylan, my email is dontony@dontony.com, by the way. But it is incredible. I never knew the channel existed. They take footage, and it's not just United States. They have footage from France, England, Australia, Japan, Vietnam. I mean, this footage 100 years ago, and this person digitizes it, adds a little sound in the background, even though it's not the actual, but it's unbelievable. I sit there and I watch it for hours in amazement. Neil Ray, I do have Facebook. It's facebook.com/Don Tony Show. You can reach me there too. Yeah, Kingblingbla, I'll send you the link as soon as I'm done with the show. And I will check my emails too. I didn't forget. But somebody showed it to me today. I can't show it here because I don't want to get hit with a copyright flag. Somebody, if you think of the concept I just brought up, somebody did it with that song, Never Gonna Give You Up. Rick Ashley, is that his name? Never Gonna Give You Up. Actually, now the video I saw today was only about a minute long, but whoever did it made it 4K quality. Go check it out. I mean, I know that song is a troll song for a lot of people out there, but if you want to ultimately troll people now you could show them a clip of that song in high definition 4K. It's pretty wild, man. It's pretty freaking wild. So I love, everything, that's happening over the years with them landing on Mars, and it's amazing. I know some of you out there believe in UFOs. I believe that we have had some unidentified flying objects over the years. Sometimes it's light reflecting off of oceans, and, some of it is obviously not legit. But there's got to be life form out there. There has to be. I mean, you have all of these planets and everything else. They weren't just put there just for, visual aesthetic, I mean, they're there for a reason. So somewhere, I mean, maybe not humans, maybe it's microscopic. I don't know. But there's water on some of these planets. There is life form on these planets. Some of these planets, I don't think it'll happen in our lifetime, but, sooner or later, they're going to land on one of these planets and they're going to find real life form, not just microscopic. I'm telling you. I did check out some of Young Rock. I watched about half of it. I didn't think it was bad. I mentioned this with Mish on Patreon Tuesday because I didn't realize that our show was the same time of Young Rock. But Young Rock, I think I had said to everyone a week earlier that I thought it was going to be similar to Everybody Hates Chris. I think it's going to have that kind of vibe to it. But you know what? A for effort. There's going to be a ton of stuff that we already knew. There's going to be stuff that is going to be exaggerated and enhanced for entertainment purposes, which is perfectly fine to me. There's not going to be any, major earth-shattering revelations, because if there was, we would have known about it over the last 20 some odd years. But I like it. I like it. Half an hour is really what sitcoms are. So, half an hour, it flies by fast. I watched about 20 minutes of it. And and the only reason why I didn't watch the last 10 minutes is because I had to do something for a customer. But from what I saw, I liked it. The show is obviously designed for more than just wrestling fans. I think it drew about 5 million viewers, which is pretty good. It was either number 1 or number 2 for the night. So, I never followed Black Lightning. Never followed it. It's one thing about me, which is the boring part of me. I don't watch much of current TV. I used to watch tons of news. Now I rarely watch news at all. I like watching forensic stuff. I like watching stuff to improve my video, help with health, understand the virus, the COVID, the vaccines. I'm just always trying to expand knowledge. But I don't spend a lot of time. Mr. Mike, that's a great comparison. Mr. Mike says it's Everybody Hates Chris meets Big Bang Theory. I like that. That's a very good comparison. It's not bad, man. It's really not bad at all. If you haven't seen it, I recommend, everyone out there. It's only half an hour. And look, it was technically the pilot episode, so it's got to develop a story to it. So you give it a month before you truly judge it. The only thing is, though, is usually with new shows, right at the beginning is where their ratings are at its peak, and then it's downhill afterwards. Not too often you have a show that starts off and then it just explodes into a crazy number. So I'm curious what the ratings are going to look like a month from now. James is asking, he wonders if they're going to reenact Dwayne throwing shit off his balcony at people when he was a kid. You know what? I could see it. I mean, if it's interesting and it comes off interesting on TV, they will do it. I've never seen the movie Human Centipede. Never seen that movie. By the way, Kingblingbla, what are some of my favorite non-wrestling podcasts? Like I said, I like watching technology channels as far as improving, everything right now is a lot with the shows, improving video quality, software. Right now, if you notice the last, 2 weeks, pretty much the shows are available on 5 different platforms now. Yes, less people are on YouTube, more people are on Twitch or Twitter or Facebook or Dailymotion. The idea is that, not everybody, finds YouTube, accessible or logistics wise, or just prefers to be on a different channel, or they might be checking out a couple of channels at the same time. So I want to spread it out, but learning a lot of this software. And now if you notice, I'm starting to design a little bit with templates, want to do my own stuff. Nuclear Heat Shaheen does wonderful work. I will never ever be able to be as good as him, but it's my channel. I'd like to be able to do my own style. It's not easy to, and believe me, Shaheen knows this especially, it's not easy to have a vision in my head how I would love this to be displayed or this to be portrayed or this and that, and you try to explain to someone else and they try to get an idea of it, but if you could do it yourself, then you could make it exactly the way you want it. So so I like watching that stuff. I've been watching so much science lately about the vaccine and understanding mRNAs and everything else, but individual podcasts, I don't have any specific ones. If I search and if something entertains me, I watch it. So I will next week give you a list of the channels I subscribe to. I mean, I don't remember any of their names. I think one is Epox, EPOX. I'm sure some of you have seen him. I love watching his work. There's a few people out there. I don't like Brian Williams. I don't watch any news anymore. I watch maybe 15 minutes of news every single week. And it's usually early in the morning when I first get up, just to see if there's anything going on. I have fallen out of favor with Fox News for a long time. I didn't like for the 4 years all the biased reporting on both sides. Just the news, there was a saying, and somebody brought up this saying the other day. There's a saying in news, if it bleeds, it leads. And that's basically what the news is doing. If it bleeds, it leads. When Mish and I talked Monday about the suicide of Tom Cole, the ring boy who Pat Patterson and Mel Phillips and that other asshole, I don't remember his name right now, not Barry O. Barry O was a victim. They pursued this kid. And look, he committed suicide at 50 years old. I feel bad for the brother. I could only imagine what that family's gone through since this happened in the 80s. This guy, Tom Cole, was married, did have kids, so we don't know what other pressures in his life pushed him over the edge with his suicide, and I'm not going to guess, and I'm not going to pretend that I know. The only people that truly know is Tom Cole and God, unless he left a suicide note. But the thing is, a lot of websites out there, if anybody has a legitimate reason to say, fuck you, WWE, fuck you, Vince McMahon, you're going to see tons of websites out there and people on social media that are going to suddenly give a shit about Tom Cole. They're going to make this guy Lee Cole feel like everybody is behind him and everybody is supporting him and everybody thinks that justice could finally be served, and he's going to be convinced by people out there, and all these places are doing is using him for a reason to have any news headlines, maybe get him to do an interview or something like that, because if it bleeds, it leads. And that's disgusting. And it's terrible. Oh, this story will get traction, Lee. This story will get traction. I'm telling you, it'll get traction. Do I think Lee Cole could file any type of lawsuit against it? No. No. Like I said, you look at the election before Biden won the election. People were trying to rehash this story just as a reason to throw darts at Linda McMahon. You know? By the way, let me comment on this because yesterday a few of you wanted me to talk about Rush Limbaugh. And like I said, I was never a big fan of his stuff. I mean, I liked his style. I liked, he was very brutally honest and didn't hold back and things like that. But I will say this. A lot of you want my thoughts about his jokes when AIDS was around. There's no justification for making horrible jokes like that. No justification at all. AIDS was a very big unknown in the early to mid 80s. It was a very big unknown. You know, me, I was just a teenager experiencing going to clubs when I wasn't of age. And then you start hearing on news about all these people dying of an unknown illness. And me, as a heterosexual teenager, we thought it was just gays. We didn't do drugs. We weren't gay. So, you know, oh, that disease doesn't apply to us. We didn't make fun of it. But my point is this. I get it. Tony Gloss, he doesn't mean any nasty about this, but he's got AIDS. He's got one on each side. Get it? Hospital AIDS. It's not malicious. But I'll say this. If you're going to hold that against Rush Limbaugh all these decades later, be prepared to hold loads of comedians. Now, I don't want to name any in particular, but there have been loads of comedians in the 80s that were talking about homosexuality and AIDS and cracking jokes. I will admit it, and I'm sorry for cursing right now, but I'll never forget Eddie Murphy Raw when he impersonated Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton, the Honeymooners. What if they were gay? Norton, how would you like to fuck me up the ass? Everybody laughed their ass off, making fun of homosexuality. Doesn't justify. You don't justify bad behavior with other bad behavior. My point is, if you're going to hold that against Rush Limbaugh all these decades later, after this guy has, maybe you didn't agree with his political views, but he did a hell of a lot of good in his life. Over the years, you grow up. You know, I've never said anything heinous like that, but I have said a lot of shit, tongue-in-cheek humor over the years. No, everybody knew, you know, my jokes back then were never malicious. But, you know, as I get older, you know, I'm not comfortable. You know, I don't like, they're not funny anymore. You know, I've had some social views that I've changed over the last bunch of years because a lot of you out there would talk to me and tell me, and, you know, I mean, my God, 5 years ago, you remember, I thought it was beyond disrespectful for Colin Kaepernick to kneel down. Now, I understand why. Now, when I see people doing it, I don't get angry anymore. I understand why they do it. And, you know, I'm not against it. You know, I'm not against it. It's, you evolve, you grow up. And I think if you're going to hold Rush accountable after all of these decades, I saw people the last 24 hours getting caught in the Howard Stern, Rush Limbaugh discussion, because Howard Stern said a lot of horrible stuff back in the day. And people are saying, well, he wasn't malicious. And when he made fun of Selena after she was killed because there were gunshots he was playing in the background and laughter, he apologized in Spanish the next day. You know, I accept Howard Stern's apology, even though it doesn't apply to me. But, you know, Rush may have apologized over the last 3-4 decades just by trying to be a good person. So I just feel that if people, and again, I was never a big fan of his. I liked his style, and I liked how he was brutally honest, and this probably is the most important thing that I liked about him. I liked that he had a set of balls. You may have despised everything that he said. Some of the stuff he said about Obamacare, I disagree with, but that guy had a set to say what was on his mind and took all the criticism with it. This leads to Kyle O'Reilly. Very bad segue, but I definitely want to bring this up. Last night when we did Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, a few people in the chat room. Let me, I don't want to fall back on these. Oh, I didn't realize I had the super chat open all this time. Jay Carlos, he has a question. What do I think about Vince McMahon's face surgery? He looks way to the extreme. He feels bad for the guy. He doesn't think he'll be around the next 10 years. Look, I hope you're wrong too. You never know. You never know. Vince, look at Ric Flair's face. People are making all this controversy about, my God, look at Ric Flair's face. It looks distorted. Yeah, welcome to old age. Welcome to when parts of your face or your body doesn't stay tight, or that's what happens. In 5 years, you could, you look at bad episodes of Forensic Files, especially the pedophiles. When you see them get arrested, and you look at them, and I've brought this up before, they look like they're 70 years old. And then I see it, 39-year-old, blah, 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 Thompson. And I'm saying, wait a minute, this guy's not even 40 years old. He looks like 70. Everybody ages different. Some people age, get in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, and they're like, my God, it looks fabulous. Some people, it's not the same. I don't think anything odd about Ric Flair or Vince McMahon in the face. That's what happens with old age. That's what happens. You know, if they were both in their 50s still, then I would say, okay. But, you know, they're both close in age, and they're older. You know? I mean, I put it side by side with my father. My father is, what? He was born in 49, so he's 72. Put a picture of my father at 72 and from 67, and you'd be like, oh my God, he looks like he's aged about 15 years. Even I have a picture of my mom. I gave her this giant card about 5 years ago. I look at it side by side. She looked like she's aged over a decade. It happens. And it's weird even with my stuff, because people look at my stuff from 15 years ago and they look at me now, and some people are like, you haven't aged at all. And some people even think I look younger now than before. It's just, it happens. I could only imagine 10 years from now what I look like. I mean, this may be just drooping everywhere. So I wouldn't be concerned about Vince's face, but, you know, he did abuse his body a little bit over the years. Sooner or later, that could catch up to you. You know, I mean, some people, God bless them, they live to be very, very ripe old age. And unfortunately for some others, they don't. So an update from Kingblingbla. He asked a question a while back about his family not accepting him watching wrestling. Took my advice and tried it, and they are now accepting him watching it. And he cried a little bit after them accepting it. No, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Look, I've said this so many times, and I'm sorry if it upsets anybody out there. You know, I'm never going to be the most professional person doing shows like this. Never going to be the most entertaining. Never going to have the most viewers. Never going to have the most downloads. Never going to have the biggest support. But the one thing that you'll get here, like you even look at my banners. You know, I don't do the clickbait with the big bold block letters, even though I get tempted at times. I just throw it out there. And if people tune in, it's awesome. If they don't want to, you know, I'd rather somebody tune in because maybe I'm making a little bit sense, you know, and if it could help you, you know, that's the biggest compliment you could give. People have helped me over the years. I didn't just, you know, read books or watch videos for the last 20 years and then suddenly I'm a wealth of knowledge. I've gone through stuff. Some people tuning in have gone through stuff. And, you know, there's a saying I always say, people sometimes hear the shows, but they don't listen, you know. And the one thing that I do on all my shows is that I'm honest, I'm straightforward. That's why I'm never caught in lies. As much as some people out there despise me, hate me for some of my decisions over the last couple of years especially, they could call me every name in the book. The only name they can't call me is a liar. I have made accusations of people. I have made statements about people's actions. You have never once ever heard somebody say, you're a fucking liar. Because, number one, I'm not a good liar. And number two, I'd rather just be straight up with people. Because if I'm straight up with people, it might not be the thing that they wanted to hear. But at least they know that they're not getting anything sugar-coated. They're not getting pandered to simply because somebody... That's one thing also, you know, and I don't want to single anybody out, but there's a certain chat room somewhere else that there's a handful of people that do not like me at all. And, you know, they have their preference of people, and that's cool. You know, not everybody loves God. Not everybody loves Obama. Not everybody loves Trump. Not everybody loves Biden. Not everybody loves me. Not everybody loves you. You know, none of us get 100% approval rating. But there's a few people out there that really, really dislike me. And the thing is that what it comes down to is, you know, you want to be just straight up and honest with people. And you want to just tell it like it is. And yeah, not everybody likes fruit on their pizza, Lee. Not everybody likes it. But the thing is that some of them will complain that, oh, because you super chat me, like, oh, I'll get into this whole conversation like I could be bought, you know? And yes, obviously super chats I stop because it helps with the channel, helps me expand. It helps, you know, for various reasons. But, you know, when I talk, I'm not going to just spill bullshit out just to say, okay, I think that person got their money's worth. You know, somebody asks me a legit thing about a relationship or I'm not the be-all, end-all with stuff like that. But if you're concerned about the vaccine, do not take what I said as gospel because I'm not a doctor. The only thing I can do is give you my experience, give you what other people say to me, and you take it. If it helps you, good. If it doesn't help you, good. When King Bling brought up a while back that he's got family members that would not accept the fact that King Bling Bling's a wrestling fan. You're not doing anything wrong by being a wrestling fan. And you know what? I'll use what he said to bring up Kyle O'Reilly, because this really pissed me off today. But obviously, with things going on today, I didn't have too much time to talk about it. But this will coincide with what King Bling Bling just said. Last night, when we were doing Wednesday Night Don-O-Mite, a few people in the chat room said, I hope Kyle O'Reilly gets well soon. And when they first said it, I'm like, yeah, get well soon. And, you know, like, I saw the finish of the match when Adam Cole came out and then hit him with the ring steps. So, okay, maybe he had a little bit of bumps. I think I even said that spot looked a little bit nasty. Then people said to me, oh no, DT, he had a seizure after the match was over. He had a seizure. So I was like, this was yesterday on the show. I'm like, oh my God, I hope he's okay. Seizures, and then somebody brought up that he's diabetic. And I think I even said yesterday, I'm like, diabetes with seizures, I know low blood sugar, but seizures, so you'd be concerned. So anyway, we found out late last night, courtesy of Ryan Satin, that Kyle O'Reilly was not injured yesterday, did not have a seizure. They sold the injury angle, took him out on a stretcher. One of the fans that was there thought that Kyle O'Reilly had a seizure, the way he was selling the move. So people were very upset last night when they thought he had a seizure, because seizures are no fucking joke. Especially when you think about the spot, you think about him being diabetic, whatever it is, that shit ain't no joke. And some of you out there know people who have had seizures. We've seen wrestlers once in a while have a seizure. So there were a lot of concerned people yesterday. And what happens? You get people, this reminded me of like my Uncle Joe from the early 80s. You get people, oh, you got worked. You got worked. He wasn't injured. You got worked. Welcome to pro wrestling. People get injured, and Kingblingbla, everybody out there, never be embarrassed that you're a wrestling fan. Never feel guilty for being a wrestling fan. And never, ever feel embarrassed or feel that you are doing something wrong because you think that somebody legitimately got hurt. Back in the wrestling magazines when we were young and people got injured, you didn't have social media where people revealed and this and that. Magazines would play along. There was nobody to spoil the fun. So whatever was sold to you because of what pro wrestling was back in the day, whatever they told you, I remember as a kid getting an old magazine and Classy Freddie Blassie. I think he feuded with John Tolos, and it was the early 70s. And he had fire, I think, thrown in his eye, and he wore this eye patch around his eye. Awesome storyline. There was no social media. It was a work. It was a work. Nobody got fooled yesterday. People showed legitimate concern for someone they thought got injured. And everybody should have a sigh of relief that it wasn't a seizure, that it was just part of the story. Plain and simple. So, again, there's always going to be people out there that are going to try to belittle us because we're a wrestling fan, belittle us because we think somebody really got hurt and it ends up they just did a great job selling it. You never feel guilty for that. Never feel embarrassed for that. Back when Dan Severn was in WWF, they did that injury angle where they played that he might have broken his neck, took him out on a stretcher. And I was emailing Georgie and Macropolis at that time. This was the early stages of the net, a couple of years after the net. And I emailed Georgie Ann, and I said, is Dan Severn okay? I said, I don't know if this, if he really got hurt in some way or if it's story. And I was honest with her. And she says, let me find out. She didn't laugh at me. She didn't say, oh, you got worked. I had a little bit of concern for the guy. And within a few minutes, she emailed me back, no, he's fine. He's okay. Wrote him off TV. That was it. Plain and simple. You know, this is not 1982 where you have an uncle that laughs at you. Oh, that's not real. That's fake. No, you're expressing legitimate concern of somebody who may have had a serious medical issue called a seizure. People have died from seizures. And what if it would have been a real seizure yesterday? Never feel guilty or embarrassed for caring about something that you like, whether it's wrestling or something else. I thought that was horrible. See people gloating last night. I mean, just gloating that people were worked and this and that. Oh, fuck you. That's why, like I say, when I came up with that goofy phrase on Wednesday, news and reviews without the hate and the clickbait. I'm no PC person. I still am an asshole. I mean, it's obvious. I'm still a jackass. I'm sarcastic. I could push people's buttons still, but deep down inside, I'm not going to turn around. And like I said, you saw the formula that we talked about. Hana Kimura kills herself, and everybody, we got to be better people. We got to be better people. 90% of the people that never heard of Hana Kimura before suddenly were into her story. And you know what? It wasn't a bad thing, because if it affected people and you didn't know anything about her, then maybe it would make people better. 2 weeks later, back to the same shit. And then someone else takes their life in pro wrestling. But because this person is just an indie wrestler from Jersey that nobody knows about, no mention whatsoever. And there was few people last year that took their life, and those same people didn't give a flying fuck about it. And for some of those macho heterosexual people, they weren't attractive enough. They didn't have enough name power. And now, if you care about something, it doesn't matter if that person is well known or that person is pretty much nobody. So, yeah, Gordon, you're right. It's called just being a decent human being. And that's why, like I say, when I do these shows, somebody has legit, question that wants my opinion, I'm honored to answer it. I'm humble that people actually value what I have to say, and I'm not going to just throw shit out there to be entertaining. I'm sure some people in the last 5 minutes may have turned the show off. I don't want to hear this. It's not for everybody. But, we love wrestling. That's one thing we all have in common for the most part. We love wrestling. And wrestling is a form of entertainment. Ring of Honor, New Japan, AEW, Impact Wrestling. Oh, by the way, Impact Wrestling. I wrote it down. They did 197,000 viewers, up from last week's 153. So, not bad. Not bad. About a 25% increase in the ratings. Obviously, some people tuned in because of Finjuice showing up in Impact. I'm not going to get blown away with this Forbidden Door stuff yet. I know Tony Khan tweets it. I know some people love the phrase. Like I said before, for me, the Forbidden Door is if my fiance bends over and says, go ahead. That's the Forbidden Door for me. That's it. Or maybe when I was a kid, there was a closet in my mom's room, and inside the closet was a little piggy bank with tons of $2 bills. That's the Forbidden Door. I open up that door, that's it. Those $2 bills are mine. Having a 40,000 viewer increase for 1 week, that's nice. That's chump change. When Kenny Omega first showed up on Impact Wrestling, he had the same bump. 2 weeks later, it was dead. Didn't amount to anything. And since then, look at what they've done. Why is Tony Khan still buying these ads on Impact Wrestling? In storyline, obviously. For what? Where is this leading? Where is this leading? So good for Impact getting a little bump. Let's see a week or two from now if that bump stays. You know, treat it like a diet. I'm still on a diet. I still got to lose another 40 pounds. But a lot of you out there like me, that we have to diet. And it's nice. It's the reverse for us. It's nice to lose 2, 3, 4 pounds. But the idea is to keep losing more, not gain it back. It's the opposite for these promotions. Okay, you gain some viewers. Now you got to gain more. I mean, if your average is 155 or 160, and like, 190, 160, and 177, and 151. Oh, but news was on. And 155, or 162, and 148. Do that for 2-3 years? What are you doing? Are you basically saying that without Finjuice, and without Kenny Omega, and without Tony Khan, and without Matt Hardy and Private Party, that your ratings would have been even worse? You're doing all of this, and you're still around your average rating? There's an underlying issue there. That's like it's the opposite with weight loss. It's like going on a diet, and after 2-3 years, you're the same weight. Hey, I lost 3. Oh, I gained 3 back. I lost 2, and I gained 1, but it was only 1. I gained a half. You know, I'm not content with how many people enjoy the shows. I mean, I remember when we first started really podcasting big time in like 05 or 06, you know, and I would put, you know, thank you every one of our listeners. You know, you're the reason why we have 10,000 downloads a week. I'm like, 10,000 sucks. I want 20,000. I want 50,000. I want 100,000. I don't ever want to stay at the status quo. So I don't know what the deal is with these promotions. All I know is, like, I look back and I say to myself, what kind of shape would Impact Wrestling be in the last 6 months if they didn't have any of this? I think it would have looked, honestly, I think Kenny Omega, Finjuice, Private Party, Matt Hardy, Tony Khan, Tony Schiavone, all that stuff is covering up the fact that MSK left, that they really don't have great opponents for the Good Brothers. And, oh, they got Matt Cardona. Oh, they got the Kurt Hawkins. Oh, they got the, like, if you peel back a little bit of the layers on Impact Wrestling, I think that they got some serious problems right now. Because, put it this way, if the Forbidden Door, which is New Japan, really does equate on numbers for AEW, and AEW realizes that, you know, Impact is really not helping us all that much, you'll see slowly Impact, you know, the involvement to get less and less. Look at NWA. I mean, other than Serena Deeb holding one of their belts, NWA has no presence in AEW. Notice how nobody invaded, nobody showed up. I understand NWA doesn't have shows right now, but it's all one-sided. So, because AEW realizes NWA is doing guts for us right now. It's doing nothing. You know, Serena Deeb is holding their title. For what? For what? If you think about it. So, there's some underlying issues. So, Forbidden Door, as I said yesterday, Forbidden Door for the executives in Impact in New Japan and AEW. But as far as us, Forbidden Door, I don't see it that way at all. It's got to equate in some serious numbers, you know. Anyway, I think we should start wrapping this up. Last week we did 3.5 hours. So right now we're a drop over 2. And yeah, Lee says, like sex, you give and you give. Time to receive and you get nothing. You know, they gotta deliver. And, you know, like I said, especially with Impact, you start taking away all that extra involvement And then you realize that the Rascals are gone. And you realize that this person's gone. And Tessa Blanchard is gone last year. And Natalia Valkyrie is gone also. You start peeling this back. And what are you left with? Wrestle House. Deonna Purrazzo's done a fabulous job. But Deonna Purrazzo is not the epic, top of the tier women's wrestler in the world. Trust me, if that was the case, people would be saying that about her before she went to Impact Wrestling. When she left WWE, a lot of us, including me, said, wow, WWE really, like, they missed the boat on that one. So now she's got a huge chip on her shoulder, and Impact Wrestling is allowing Deonna Purrazzo to show how much she's worth. She is a top-tier star. She's not the be-all, end-all of women's wrestling, but Impact is treating her that way because they need somebody to be the representation of the whole company. You take her away, who do you have? Who do you have? Seriously, before we go, I'll mention Cuomo in closing, but before we go, for everybody live in the chat, take away Deonna Purrazzo. Who is the face? Let's pretend there's a big TV convention coming up. And every wrestling promotion can have one person that represents the face of that promotion. So AEW has Kenny Omega. WWE sends Roman Reigns. NXT sends Finn Balor. MLW sends whoever. Who does Impact Wrestling send other than Deonna Purrazzo? Who is that one person that could represent that company that if they have a booth at a TV convention, who? Moose? Seriously? I like Moose. I like Moose a lot. Anybody truly think that Moose is the face of Impact Wrestling? Rich Swann? It's a great story. And he deserves where he's at right now. They don't have that signature face. And it can't just be a familiar name or a familiar face. It's got to back it up as far as current status. They don't have that. They don't have that. So anyway, a lot of you out there wanted my thoughts on what's going to happen with Governor Cuomo here in New York. Because the scandal is starting to come out now that they hid the true number of deaths in nursing homes. And let me tell you my quick opinion on it. And you don't have to live in New York to appreciate this. You will remember me about 6, 7, 8 months ago talking about this. This is something that is talked about on the net everywhere before. That if somebody had a couple of heart attacks last year, somebody had cancer, and somebody was terminally ill and died, and they found that person also had COVID, they chalked it up as a COVID death. Even if somebody was terminally ill and on life support, and they only had days left, if they passed and there was COVID in their system, they were treated as a COVID death. And when Trump was president, mostly everybody ignored that and not take a step back and say, wait a minute. Somebody recently, who was it, everyone? Who died recently? Oh my God. Larry King. Larry King died recently. And he had how many heart attacks and strokes in his life? And he was in poor health. And they blamed it as a COVID death. My point is that, look, if you have COVID and it kills you, yeah, you should be listed as a COVID death. But if you die and you have stage 4 cancer and you had a heart attack and you're on life support before anything with COVID and you have COVID also, COVID should be a contributory part of the death. It should be part of the whole scenario. Instead, they would write cause of death, COVID, nothing else. And when Trump was president, a lot of people felt that they were cranking up these numbers because the more people that you say died because of COVID, the worse it makes Trump look. We've all seen that over the last year. Problem is, and yes, you're right, Tony, it's to get more money for research, more money for prevention. It's all about money. It's also about getting Trump out of office. So what happened with Cuomo was he tried to have his cake and eat it too. Cuomo wanted to blame everything on Trump. If you notice now, whenever he makes excuses, he keeps using the word they. He doesn't want to say anybody individually because he can't. Just like when you see people on social media. Oh, did you hear what they said about Sammy Guevara? All this heat he's getting from Impact Wrestling? Who's they? Who's they? People don't want to tell you. They're just reading somebody's Twitter page. These journalists out there. Oh, my source is telling me, blah, 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 blah. Oh, they said it, but who's they? So Cuomo, what happened to him was he was trying to blame Trump on everything, but then realized that because he couldn't blame Trump because all of these decisions were done on a local level. Dynasty, just email me if you want PayPal. Just let me know, your PayPal address. I'll send it to you that way. If you want Amazon e-gift card, if you want a money order, just send me your address and who to make the money order out to. That's all I need, really. So, and I'll match it up with the YouTube account, so don't have to worry about that. So, I don't even need like your full information. If you're going to just take like a PayPal or Amazon, just let me know where to send it. I'll do it tonight or tomorrow morning. But anyway, just finish up with Cuomo. What happened is that people started to understand that a lot of the decisions about masks, remember Biden, we're not going to get a long rant. It'll just take me 5 minutes tops on this. Remember Biden when he said he wanted to have a mask mandate for the whole country? He couldn't do that. It has to be done locally by the local governments. He could push it, he could stress it, he could pressure, but at the end of the day, it's the local governments that make those decisions. He couldn't do that. He couldn't do that. If that was the case, it'd be going on in Florida right now. So my point is that everybody tried to blame a lot of this stuff on Trump. And Trump, looking back on it, totally fucked up with the masks. Should have, since day one, pushed the masks. And instead, it felt like a macho thing. I look inferior by wearing a mask. I look tougher. Like I'm tougher than the virus, so I'm not wearing a mask. And a lot of people did the same thing. So trust me, Trump is responsible for a lot, no question. But people started realizing, because when Cuomo was doing all these press conferences, you have local news there. And the local news starts asking questions. Oh, Trump builds this giant hospital for New York. They never used it. You start realizing that a lot of the decisions were done on a local level. So now Cuomo can't blame all these crazy ass deaths on Trump. So they start delaying the numbers. The government, federal, wants to see the numbers. Delay this, delay that, delay this, delay that. So now he's like, oh, we should have been more transparent. No, they hid it because people started blaming. And when people's family members were dying in nursing homes, and they're saying like these nursing homes are all fucked up, and realized he can't blame it on Trump anymore, now he was forced to hold back those numbers. And that's why even Democrats want Cuomo out. Do I think Cuomo is going to resign? Nope. Do I think Cuomo is going to be forced out? See what happened in California today? California, that Gavin Newsom, whatever his name is, announced that millions of people in California are going to get $600 stimulus checks. They're trying to raise like 2 million votes or whatever to try to redo the election and get his ass out of office. You remember what I said about Andrew Yang's tweet? You had people out there that were saying for months or saying for weeks that Georgia had to win Republican. The Senate has to be Republican. We cannot have a socialist country. And the minute Democrats won and Andrew Yang tweeted that everybody's going to get a $1,200 check or whatever it was, these people liked it. These people only give a shit about stuff handed to them. A lot of people, there's a lot of people that need it, no question. But you see what's going on in California? They're trying to get his ass out. Now he sends $600 checks to millions of people. Those millions of people are going to be like, nobody's perfect, counting the money. Nobody's perfect, yeah, he screwed up. Same thing's going to happen with Cuomo. Cuomo's going to increase the indoor dining to 50%. You have de Blasio standing in front of dancers in the streets. We're going to bring the city back. So once things start feeling better, you're going to get a lot of New Yorkers are going to be like, you know what? Yeah, he fucked up and everything, but you know what? It now is what matters. And you see more money being handed out to people. You got people, it's amazing. You have people on social media especially, and there's another reason why I don't talk much on social media. And you all listening, whether you live in England, Australia, United States, wherever you live right now, this happens to you also. You have people on social media that will consistently criticize their local government, their mayor, their governor, whoever it is. The minute they're handed out something without going out and actually working for it, suddenly they shut up. When they can't get something handed to them, oh, this person sucks, this person's doing a pathetic job, this person's doing a pathetic. Then when they're given something, then it shuts everybody up. It's basically a nipple for the babies out there. You got babies on social media. They're basically doing this. Stimulus check, they stop crying. That's all it is. I don't like Cuomo. I don't like de Blasio. I don't like anybody in government because it's all a fucking game. It's all a game. And they're going to make these announcements just like Newsom, giving all that money out. That money was given out to try to take the heat off of him. You could almost say it kind of feels like a bribe. You want to give me money? I'll take it. That's why I said last year, I know this is kind of messed up to some people out there, but I honestly feel you all should do the same thing. One of my New Year's resolutions for 2021 was to be one of the most selfish son of a bitches out there. And as far as selfish, what do I mean by that? I am only doing stuff for me, my mom, my dad, my fiance, for everybody that supports me here, my health, my happiness. I am only giving a shit about me and my extended family out there, which includes all of you. The years and the decades of me, I'll still be there for people that I care about that need me for whatever. But as far as like government or this and that, you want to hand me a fucking check and I'm working, I'll take it. I'll go buy me a couple of cases of Zevia with it. You're going to say to me that, oh, I could take a deduction here, even though I'm fucking taking it. So legally, obviously, legally. But no, Psycho, it's the opposite of everybody has a price. Last year, when they were trying to pass that stimulus, and you had Republicans say, we can't bankrupt our children. We already have 20-something trillion that we cannot bankrupt our children by giving out $1,200 checks. And I said this once before. So you mean to tell me that if our children are left with 23 trillion in debt instead of 22 trillion in debt, that, they're not fucked up? You're fucked. It's like me if I have a credit card bill and it's $50,000 instead of $55,000. These people come up with these lines, and it's some of the stupidest shit that you ever hear. So now, whatever I'm entitled to, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Whatever I'm entitled to, I'm taking it. And I personally think you should all take it as well. If you're entitled to something, don't steal, don't commit fraud. But if you're entitled to something, don't feel guilty, take that. You want to take it and give it to someone else, then do that. So, anyway, I'm going to get out of here. We're still an hour less than last week, which is cool. But right now, my plan, just so everybody knows about Friday night, my plan is this morning, if the weather is not bad, because the snow was horrible early today. And even while we went for the appointment, it was snowing out. But tonight, it hasn't been bad. I don't think it's snowing right now. Haven't heard anything. If the weather is not bad during Friday, then all I'm going to do is Friday during the day, I'm going to go to the parents' house, shovel, wherever I need to do, spend lunch with them. I'm going to come back here, and then Friday night, we will do a show as scheduled, 10:05 p.m. Review SmackDown, predictions for Elimination Chamber, and if I get the quarter-hour ratings for AEW and NXT. That's it. If the weather, because it could snow until Friday night, which they say is a high possibility, if we get more bad weather and it's bad tomorrow night, then I'm going to stay at their house Friday night, which means no show Friday night. But Saturday, I'll probably come up here and do something. My gut feeling tells me that I'll be here Friday night because the snow stopped early today, and I didn't see anything up to showtime. So cross fingers, but I'm going to get out of here. Awesome show tonight. I thank you all for hanging out and stopping by. Thank you for making me feel good with the personal wrestling stuff. Made me feel good. And, we're definitely going to be posting a hell of a lot more. So this is stuff that's been buried and locked away. And I tell you the truth, I'm so glad I didn't throw this stuff out, because early on, people made me feel so small that my stuff was that bad. Like, I never wanted to look at it ever again. And there were points years ago that I was just going to throw this shit away, just throw it in the garbage. And if you go on these promotions websites, they're not selling the videos from these shows. So if I didn't have these right now, it would be almost impossible to get it. So the fact that I kept it is a good thing. And we'll have a couple of laughs over the upcoming months with this stuff. Some of it will probably be decent. Some of it will be god-awful. So we will have fun. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Everyone, as I always say before you go, if you enjoyed the show, smash that like button and subscribe. And like I said, tomorrow I will give him the card. And like I said earlier, when we are able to go out to dinner again, I will definitely treat him. So I'm sure he'll enjoy it, like a nice glass of wine and a few other things. But everyone, have a great night. Be safe. To all my friends in all areas of the world, from Texas and beyond, that are just having like horrible power outages, I think the worst is about to be over. Just cross fingers that things will get better. Look, if you're able to tune into the show right now, hopefully things got better for you, but we're all thinking about you. So, all right, everybody, take care. Much love as always, and feedback always welcomed. don't have to worry about me snapping at you. It is very much appreciated. So good night, everybody. Take care. And I'll catch you all again either tomorrow or Saturday. Ciao.